precepts, and another cold cut, giving, of course, our honor and glory to Yahweh, Hashema Mashiach, Wamalak Abishai, double honors to the elect elders of the house of David that's been in this truth for decades, patiently waiting and laboring for the second coming of our Lord Yahushai. A hearty, mighty shalom to all of the mighty men of the Most High God who are out there in the highways and byways pushing this truth, magnifying the ministry, presenting their bodies as a living sacrifice, and enduring all things for the elect's sake. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to the men that may not be out there in the highways and byways as of yet, but they're working on it. They're getting built up in the spirit. They're praying. They're fasting. They're studying. They're being diligent, and they're abounding in the work of the Lord. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the Aquath out there, the sincere sisters that are out there zealous and diligent and on fire and moving in the spirit of our righteous foremothers. Shalom to the ancient men. Shalom to the children. Shalom to the elect of Israel scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. And shalom to everybody tuning in live through the spirit and power of Yahweh and his only begotten son, Yahushua, brother Azariah, Shalom, King, Don Israel to meet, HBK Int, Ak, Yawakandan, Yaakov Israel, Azagat Sauce, Nigel Blends, Carmel, right? Judah Boy, Divine in Nature, LLC, and everybody else tuning in and that will tune in, Lord willing. This will be a quick cold cut through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shmir Shai Abaratazah. The most important thing for a leader is, and it goes without saying, the most important thing for a leader is the flock, the sheep, the church. Not his ego, not his pride, not money, not his own agenda, not his own will, but his primary focus is the estate and care of the flock and the sheep, right? Not the brother who studies for himself to show off what he learned. You got brothers like that, man. They'll study just to go out on the highways and byways to show off other brothers what precepts they found. But it has nothing to do with edifying the flock. It has nothing to do with building a sheep. You have brothers that fast, man, for vain reasons and vain purposes, but their concern is not on the men and the women and the families in the church of the congregation. So the number one focus for any brother that's tuning in as a leader is the estate of the flock, right? This is 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse number 1. It reads, the elders which are among you, I exhort, who am also an elder, and a witness of the sufferings of Hamashiach, and also a partaker of the glory that shall be revealed. Right, so the Apostle Peter is giving a strong exhortation and warning to all of the men that are over the churches throughout Asia Minor. Verse number 2, feed the flock of the Most High, which is among you, taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly, not for filthy lucre, but of a ready mind. So this is a commandment. You're commanded to feed the flock of the Most High, which is among you, man. If you're a shepherd and you're not feeding the flock, then you are not a shepherd. If you're a shepherd and you leave the flock and you desert the flock because you have your own plans, you have your own agenda, you have your own endeavors that you want to accomplish, then you're no longer a shepherd, man. And the Most High is going to cut off the idle shepherds, the wicked shepherds, the slothful shepherds, right? And Yahweh Shema Shah is going to replace those men, because those men aren't shepherds. Those men will be what you call hirelings, temporary guys, like a temp worker. You don't bank on a temp worker to perform at the highest level. You don't bank on a temp worker to be there for a long time. They're here to kind of get the job done, and you let them go, man. A lot of brothers that may be in leadership, you don't want to perform and be in the spirit of a temp worker, man. You want to be solely tapped into the estate of the flock and the church. You have to feed the flock. You feed the flock with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. That's Jeremiah 3:15. I will give you pastors according to my heart, which will feed you with knowledge and understanding. Right? So you feed the flock through counsel, through wisdom, through discernment, through guidance, through comfort, through the precepts. If you're not feeding the flock of the Most High, if you're not doing videos, if you're not teaching on the highways and byways, if you're not checking on brothers, if you're not doing exhortation, if you're not giving counsel, then you're going to be fired, man, by the Most High. Right? And you have to take the oversight, not by constraint, but willingly. So it should be in you to do this. Nobody should beat you half to death to make you take care of the church, man. Nobody should light a fire under your seat to make you want to teach. Nobody should charge you and damn near threaten you to get kicked out the congregation or a congregation because you didn't do the work of the Most High. Nobody should threaten to suspend you. Shouldn't get to counsel. Nobody should drag you, hit your phone 10 times. It should be in you willingly to feed the flock of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushua. It should be in you. And a lot of brothers, you damn near gotta, I'm just speaking carnally, not literally, but you gotta, damn near put your hand on them to make them do the work of the Most High, man. Right? So those men aren't shepherds. Any shepherd have to force, he's not going to last too long being a shepherd. Right? Let's read on. It reads, not by constraint, but willingly, not for filthy lucre, but of a ready mind. So filthy lucre is money. So a shepherd shouldn't be looking to profit off of the sheep. Right? He shouldn't be looking to profit off the congregation. He shouldn't be having all these damn scams and you got to pay for this video. And if you subscribe here, then you get this video. This is exclusive content. This is too hot for this. And if you don't get this and, you got to pay for this. That's filthy lucre. Nobody really in Israel should be paying for any damn thing. That's this ministry. Straight up and down. If you a brother and you charging for videos, you're going off, man. There is literally no excuse. You're going off. As freely as thou hast received, freely give. There are other ways for brothers to be able to take care of themselves, their families, in the church without charging Israelites to receive edification. There are thousands of other options. Right? So not for filthy lucre, but of a ready mind. Yeah, not $800 counsels. Well, we got $800 you can counsel. $200 you could do this. $40 you're a premium member. $30 you're an average member. You want to have a ready mind. You want to have a ready mind to do the work of the Most High. Neither as being lords over God's heritage, but being examples to the flock. You don't want to be a lord over the flock. Meaning you don't want to be a brother and how they say you're doing too much, man. You're acting like an Edomite boss and a supervisor when you get around the brothers. You sunning brothers, man. You taking your damn thumb and wiping it off, wiping brothers' damn crumbs off their face, man. You fixing this collar, dragging the brother by his arm, stand here, telling the brother, who you think you're talking to? I'm the head of the camp. Right? That's wicked, man. You don't want to be a lord over the heritage. You snap your fingers 3 times and do this to a brother. Come here. Right? Like you his damn father, man. You're not going to last too long being a shepherd, being the lord over the heritage. Patting brothers' pockets, literally patting the pocket watching. Right? You walk up on a brother, you literally patting his pockets, man. Don't be a lord over God's heritage. You want to be an example. And if you want to know how to be an example, you have examples. Right? You have our holy forefathers. You have excellent leaders of the flock. You have the Apostle Paul, you got Peter, you have Nehemiah, you have Ezra, you have Moses, you have David. You have all of these men who are key examples and our fathers who are examples of the flock. Right? And those are the examples that we have to learn from and follow from. Let's go to Proverbs 27 and 23. Right? Proverbs chapter 27 and 23. You may be a brother, man. If you're a leader in the congregation and you don't have brothers in your camp phone number saved, you're going off. You're going off, man. Now a brother might get a new number and you might not know, then you got to save it. Right? But if you got brothers that's been around, man, and these brothers calling you, you know who the hell they are. They go straight to voicemail. You blocking all of these numbers. You don't know who's who. Some brothers, you don't even know brother's name in your camp, man. Oh, that's the brother that always wear the red shirt. That brother with the glasses. Yeah, how are you a shepherd, man? Let's go to Proverbs 27. Some brothers don't even know who's in their congregation, man. They don't even know who's in your city. Right? This Proverbs 27 and 23. You don't have brothers' numbers saved. Brothers got to get through 4 people just to get in contact with you, man. This Proverbs 27, It's like I want to get this in verse number 23, these pages, right? It reads, "Be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks, and look well to thy herds." And you have to be consistent, man. You have to put forth the effort to know the state of your flocks. Look at a shepherd, man. A shepherd has to be out there all the time to know the state of their flocks. Did a wolf come and tear one sheep? They have to keep inventory. They have to keep count. Okay, I have 200 sheep. By the time of 8 a.m., by the time it's 8 p.m., only got 50 sheep. If you got 200 sheep at 8 a.m., and by the time it's 8 p.m., you only got 50 sheep, and you don't know what happened to them, it's over for you, huh? It's over for you. Even if sheep go missing, right? A lion came and slew him, right? Or he fell off a cliff. You have to know what happened. You have to know what happened, man. See, a shepherd, you might not be able to save every sheep. You know, some sheep are just wandered off a cliff. You have one sheep wandering off a cliff over here, another sheep getting attacked by a lion, and, you know, you might not be able to save every sheep, man. But you better know what at least happened to these sheep. You're going to have to give an account, you know? And certain brothers in positions of leadership, it's brothers that's no longer in the camp. You don't even know what happened to those brothers. You didn't check on them. You didn't follow through. Didn't pull up. Didn't even inquire. You just kept it moving, man. Waiting for the next video you could drop so everybody can know who the hell you are, so you can get the most views. How are you over a congregation? You don't even know the coming and going of those within and without, right? So you have to be diligent to know the state of your flocks. You may have to call brothers, right? You may not have time to call a brother, text a brother. It doesn't take long to text a brother. It doesn't take long to call a brother. There are times where brothers have to literally drive to a brother's house, beat on the door, and make the brother come outside, man. Or kind of get in there. And the brother somewhere sitting in the dark, man. About to smoke his life away. Smack the blood out of his hand. You know, what the hell are you doing? You got to see what spirits that may be on brothers. See, being in the position of leadership, it's beyond yourself. It's bigger than you, man. And the truth has never been about you. It's always been about Yahweh Basham Yahushua. And in a position of leadership, you got to look at brother's flock. Look at brother's spirits, man. That brother got a slothful spirit creeping up back on him. Man, that brother's really immature, man. He got a folly spirit on him, right? Let me talk to that brother. Let me get that brother a few precepts, right? Or look at this, that brother's waxing strong. Hey, all praise to the Most High, man. You know, you have to look at the sheep, man. You know, anybody that's over a herd of flocks, they know even if you got a whole bunch of dogs, your dogs got different personalities, man. Sheep's got different spirits. So you want to be able to look well. We'll read that again. "Be thou diligent to know the state of your flocks, and look well to your herds. For riches are not forever, and doth the crown endure to every generation." Now, what does that mean? For riches are not forever. So your riches and your wealth lie in your substance. There is value in flocks and sheeps, right? You have milk, you have clothes, you understand, you get wool, you have meat, you have all of these things that come from that. True riches lie within the flock that you have. And on a spiritual level, your riches and your wealth and your reward is how you take care of the flock. You understand? That's what the Most High is saying, for riches are not forever, and doth the crown endure to every generation. The hay appeareth, and the tender grass showeth itself, and the herbs of the mountains are gathered. The lambs are for thy clothing, and the goats are the price of thy field. And thou shalt have goat's milk enough for thy food, for the food of thy household, and the food, and for the maintenance of thy maidens. So you receive a reward based off of the inventory that you keep, man, based off of the flock that you take care of. There's a reward for that. And in the ancient world, like I said, they got clothes, or the scripture said they got milk, they got these things. You have to know the state of your flocks. If you don't, it's gone, and your whole value and your reward is based off of what you get from the flock on a spiritual level. That's what the Most High is saying. Now, I had this I'm not going to read this whole thing, but I pulled this up. I'm going to just read it. Now, these are, this is a list of potential consequences of neglected sheep. So I'm going to read these things. Here's what happens when you neglect the sheep on a carnal level. Now it says, right, well, I actually printed it out at the plantation, right? It says potential consequences of neglected sheep. Sheep require consistent care to remain healthy and thrive. Neglecting their needs can lead to a multitude of serious problems, including overgrown hooves and lameness, meaning your balance is off. You have to think about this spiritual, man. You know? See, the Most High, he doesn't accept an offering that's superfluous. Superfluous meaning, or lacking, right? You can't have a lamb that's lacking a leg, a lamb that's blind, a lamb that's torn. And you can't also offer a lamb that has 5 legs, 3 eyes, an extra hoof. The Most High is not accepting superfluous offerings. A superfluous offering is a brother that's out there doing the work of the Most High, but he may not be sincere. He may be out there teaching, and he's bringing out precepts that have nothing to do with edification. That's superfluous. You're going above and beyond. It's excess. You may be excess in pride while you're teaching. You're cutting the person that you're teaching. You're cutting them off, man. And they're agreeing with you, but you just want to contend. So you're pulling up these precepts to debate them, but you're not listening to the fact that they're really agreeing with you. Y'all are saying the same thing. So in your pride, that is a superfluous offering. So your lamb can have superfluous things, man. And if your lamb is lame, he can't walk. That's like a brother, man. If you don't check on a sheep, he can go lame. Like Mephibosheth. His balance is off. And eventually, if your balance is off, you can't stay in that right path. You can't stay in that straight and narrow path. Eventually, you're going to go astray and lead to that wide path. See, and a lot of sheep don't go astray because they're lost and because they're foolish. A lot of sheep go astray because they're not taken care of. And they naturally become lame. Brothers don't check on them. Now these men are into doctrines. They're into different spirits. They got these different demons on them. And they go off. Right? So overgrown hooves and lameness. Sheep need regular hoof trimming to prevent overgrowth, which can lead to lameness and infections like foot rot and contagious ovine digital dermatitis, CODD, man. So you can get infections and foot rot. Right? What else? Overheating and fly strike. So your sheep could overheat. Right? Let me pull this up. Right? So like I had these different so domesticated sheep have been selectively bred to produce wool. Hold on, this is something different. So basically you have to shear your sheep. It says overgrown wool can also accumulate urine, feces, and other debris, attracting flies and increasing the risk of fly strike. See that? And fly strike is where flies lay eggs inside of the damn sheep, man. So you want to be in the spirit, man. You want to be in the spirit. You don't want to have a sheep just being attacked and infected by flies and demons and dead things, man. You should be checking. You may not be able to check on every sluggy. You might not be able to check on every brother every day, man. Some brothers, you got families, you got wives, you got jobs, you work a lot of hours, man. You got a lot going on. But you should try to check on multiple brothers throughout the week, man. Because if not, you see what's going to happen to the sheep. Let me hold this article. Let me go to Leviticus, right? Chapter 22. Right? This is Leviticus, chapter 22 and verse number 21. And whosoever offereth a sacrifice of peace offerings unto Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai to accomplish his vow, or a freewill offerings in beeves or sheep, it shall be perfect to be accepted. There should be no blemish therein. Right, because in the day of judgment, it's our job, pursuant to the book of Colossians, the first chapter, 1-28 on down, or 22 on down, to present every man perfect. Right, let me actually get that. So your offerings have to be perfect before the Most High. So if there are brothers under you, it's your job to perfect those brothers, right? Through counsel, wisdom, setting the example, right? Discretions, teachings. It's your job to perfect those brothers. If you're not working on perfecting those brothers, then your offering as a sheep is not going to be acceptable, right? Now this is it's like this page is stuck together. All right, I want Colossians, right? See that? Chapter 1 and verse. Let's see what I want. Bear with me. 1 and 28. That's what I want. Colossians chapter 1 and 28. Whom we preach, warning every man and teaching every man in all wisdom, that we may present every man perfect in Hamashiach Yahushua. You see that? So brothers have to do that, man. You see, because when you have sheep, they could be for your clothes, cool. You know, they could be for your meat, that's fine. Right? They could be for, sheep, goat milk, whatever, that you have your goats for. But also they're for offerings. So you also took care of your sheep because there were times you had to make an offering for your trespasses or for a vow or for a sin. You didn't eat every sheep that you had and shear for clothes. A lot of these sheep were kept up to a set year. It had to be a male and without blemish, and then you had to offer these things up, you know? So likewise in this knowledge, you brothers that are over cities, over congregations, you brothers over households, like I always say, every brother's a leader in his own right. You know, every brother's a leader. If you have a wife, you're a leader. If you have children, you're a leader. You know, if you're over a city, you have leaders. If you're amongst a congregation, you're a leader. You set the example. You lead and show what should be done. There's not one brother in this truth that's not a leader. And brothers need to know that. Now, there are levels to leadership. But if you're in a position of leadership, you have to understand that the men that the Most High gave you, you have to present those men perfect. In order to present them perfect, you have to see what's imperfect, right? There are things that you may do proactively by praying for brothers and going on fast and praying that the church is pure and is purged out of wickedness and sin. And then there are hands-on things that you may do, right? Hands-on, you're checking on brothers. You maybe do one-on-ones, calling the brother, sending brothers precepts. And then there are reactive things you have to do, right? Counsels and certain things of that matter. These are all things that brothers have to understand. So Paul, he told you he had to present every man perfect as an offering to the Most High. Every Israelite, Timothy, Titus, Silvanus, Silas, all these men had to be presented perfect. And it was Paul's job to do that. Now I'm going to read verse 29. Whereunto I also labor, striving according to his working, which worketh in me mightily. So he labored to make every man perfect. Now, we're all in the flesh, and you can't control like I said, you can't save every sheep. It's impossible. You would need, if you have 200 sheep, you would need 200 men for one for every sheep. So it may be hard. It may be burdensome. But you have to make that effort to check on those 200 sheep, Now, the scurvy or scabbed, ye shall not offer these unto Yahweh, nor make an offering by fire of them upon the altar of the Lord. So anything that's broken and damaged, it can't be offered before the Lord. Right? Read on. Either a bullock or a lamb that hath anything superfluous or lacking in its parts, that mayest thou offer for a freewill offering, but for a vow it shall not be accepted. You see that? So for vows and for things that are important, you can accept these things. The Most High won't accept it. Anything lacking members and eyes and limbs, or anything that has extra, it won't be accepted. So going back to the topic, if you have extra hooves and you have overflown hair as a sheep, it could kill that sheep, man. It could kill that sheep. Let me go back and read this. Right? Now it reads, it says, bear with me. Overgrown wool can accumulate urine, and that's foul, man. You got your damn sheep out there pissing on itself. The urine get caught up in the wool. It attract maggots and flies, and you how do you not smell that, man? How do you not see that as a shepherd? How do you not even know what's going on? Because you got to count the sheep when they go back into the sheepfold at the end of the night, man. So you should be looking. Let me see that day. That one, that one kind of smell too bad. You kind of set it to the side, man. Dig in the fur. Hey, some of these sheep, you got to dig in the fur, man. Hey, some sheep are rebellious, man. They want to ram you, you know. Some sheep need discipline, man. You got to hit it with your rod a few times. He bucking up, he kicking. Right? So let me read this. I'm breaking up. Right, Salakia for that. Right? Right? So bear with me. Most I willing, you can hear me. If not, Salakia. It's just the location that I'm at. Right? It's where I'm at. So, right? So bear with me. So I'm gonna read on to the next one. Right? So it reads parasite infestations. Neglecting deworming and parasite control measures can result in severe internal and external parasite infestations. External parasites like mites, ticks, and lice can cause intense itching, skin lesions, wool loss, anemia, and discomfort. Check this out. It says internal parasites can cause stunted growth, anemia, diarrhea, and death, man. So a lot of brothers, man, you'll stunt the growth of the sheep by not taking care of them. Right? Right, so let me know if you can hear me. Right? Let me know if you can hear me. If not, let me know. If it's cutting in and out, sorry for that. I'm in a bad location. Right? Let me know. We can hear me. Okay, all praise to the Most High. All right. Yeah, so like I was saying, man, it says that mites, parasites, all these things could kill the flock. And you brothers that are husbands, man, you got to take care of your wife and your children, man. Don't be the brother you all concerned about the congregation of the Most High, but your woman got all these demons on her. Y'all don't pray together. You don't teach your children. Yeah, that's out of order, man. It's out of order. Let's go to Acts chapter 20. Right, let's go to Acts chapter 20 and 28. So this is for you brothers, man, that are in leadership. You're a shepherd. And go back and look up the ins and outs of a shepherd, man. And open up your eyes. Right? This Acts 20 and 28. Take heed, therefore, unto yourselves and to all the flock, over the which the Holy Ghost or Holy Spirit hath made you overseers, to feed the church of the Most High, which he hath purchased with his own blood. For I know this, that after departing shall grievous wolves enter in among you, not sparing the flock. So you're going to have wolves too. So you're going to have to check on the flock one thing. Okay. All right, you see that? See that? So Satan cometh immediately. Right? Cometh immediately. So I'm going to continue. Right? I'm going to continue with the words of the Lord. So I was saying that through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shah, you also have to be mindful of, threats, man. You have wolves, bears, lions, and on a carnal level, you got demons. And there are spirits that the Most High sends amongst the nation of Israel that brothers have to be mindful of, right? There are spirits of, there's a heavy spirit of debate in Israel, right? Sometimes there are spirits of adultery in Israel. There's always adultery scandals. The Most High always sends these different spirits, right? Sometimes there are spirits of just utter folly, man, and confusion amongst Israel, right? So you as a shepherd or as a leader, you have to charge and warn the flock about the different spirits that the Most High is putting on the earth. And that comes through observation. You have to be very you have to have a very keen sense of observation. I'll put it like that when you're in a position of leadership, right? And you may not always vocalize the things that you see, but if it concerns the flock, then it's imperative that you vocalize it, that you speak to it, right? And then you readjust. So if you wake up in the morning, like I was saying, and you see wolf prints, You might want to move the sheep, man. You might want to stay up all night so you could catch that wolf in the night. If you hear lions roaring, in the east, and you moving your sheep toward the east, you might want to move them to the west. You have to be keen to what's going on around you as a leader. That's at camp. That's concerning the estate of the flock. That's being a judge and understanding what spirits the Heavenly Father's put on the earth. You have to be mindful of these things and act accordingly. Whether you warn the flock or you put things into place, right? It's your job to be on that level to be able to discern these matters, man. You have to be able to discern these matters through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Well, let's get another precept, right? I know I'm running out of time. Satan trying to hinder the work. Let's go to 1 Samuel 17, right? Let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 17, and I'm going to read verse number 34, right? 1 Samuel chapter 17 and 34. Spirit of being thirsty to debate all the time. Yeah, the brother say it doesn't even matter. Essentially, what the truth is, it just matters how you bring your point out in the debate. That's madness, man. Right? That's madness to say it doesn't matter essentially who's right or wrong. It just matters how your point is being brought out. I mean, that's ridiculous, man. So people don't even, Israel don't even care. They just want to see who brought their point out the best, independent of what the truth is. So you could be, that's how the so-called white man is, man. He brings out lies so well. You're like, well, he brought it out so mighty. He brought these lies. I mean, he won. Esau got it. No, man. And the Lord said, great is the truth and mighty above all things. So you got to watch out for these spirits out here, man. You got to watch out for these spirits. Nevertheless, this 1 Samuel chapter 17 and 34. It reads, and David said unto Saul, thy servant kept his father's sheep and took a lamb out of the flock. Slacky, I'm going to read it again. And David said unto Saul, thy servant kept his father's sheep, and there came a lion and a bear and took a lamb out of the flock. And a lot of brothers couldn't be shepherds in the ancient world because you'd be scared to death, man. If a lion came up, a lot of brothers would flee, man. And you'll leave the sheep. See, certain spirits attack certain men and brothers neglect it. You act like that's not your problem. Everything's your problem when you're in a leadership position, man. Every brother's demon essentially is now your demon. Every brother's burden is your burden, man. And you got to deal with it. You got to deal with it. So when this lion came and this bear took the sheep, and that became David's problem, man. He didn't say that's your problem, sheep. You shouldn't have got too far. No, that's David's problem now. Right? It reads, and I went out after him and smote him and delivered it out of his mouth. He arose against me. I caught him by his beard and smote him and slew him. Thy servant slew both the lion and the bear, and this uncircumcised Philistine shall be as one of them, seeing he hath defied the armies of the living God. And that's what these demons do. They defy the armies of the living God, man. The brothers that are around you are the armies of the living God. Did not the Most High say in Ezekiel 37 and 10, he will raise up an exceeding great army? All these evil spirits, these wicked women, devices, philosophies, doctrines, they're defying the armies of the living God, man. Hey, David got hot about that, man. David got hot, man. Well, he was cool until he heard heard Goliath curse out, was putting curses out in the Most High and the Most High's people, man. It tells you actually that David cursed, that Goliath cursed David by his gods. So you gotta look at it like Goliath is a demon, man. Putting a spirit on the flock, and David's job is to take care of the flock. That's David's job. So the sheep's problem, the point is, they become your problem. Whatever they're dealing with, you have to deal with it. It's your responsibility now to help that brother who has that lust demon on him. It's your responsibility now to help that sister in that household who needs, they may be impoverished, man. Come up with a plan to get them some funds to help them, man. It's your job. Stop making this truth just about you. and get a name for yourself, man. But the flock is suffering. The flock is suffering. Have that spirit that David had, man. He went out after that lion and after that bear and he killed it, man. And he rescued the sheep. Rescue the sheep from the destruction that is on the earth, man. Let's go to Zechariah, right? Running out of time. I would have had more time, but the spirit suffered it not, man. All things are of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua, and they'll forever be of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua. I've never seen anything that wasn't of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua. So my lives cut out, but that's the Most High setting that up, man. You know, for His purpose. Zechariah chapter 11, and I want verse. Let's see where I want to start. 8. Zechariah chapter 11 and verse 8. 3 shepherds also I cut off in 1 month, and my soul loathed them, and their soul abhorred me. So the Lord is cutting off shepherds, man. So we said 3 shepherds in 1 month, meaning a certain amount of men the Lord cut off in a certain period of time, in a short time. 1 month represents a short time with the Most High. So you're going to have brothers and shepherds, they're going to get cut off, man. You already got brothers getting exposed, and it's only going to get worse. You're going to have brothers eventually getting put to death. You know, you're going to have all these things falling out the truth. Those are shepherds getting cut off. Straight up and down, man. You're not going to really beat around the bush or sugarcoat it. And that can happen to me. That can happen to you. That can happen to any brother. Any brother could be in this truth today and be cut off by the Most High tomorrow. Right? Let's jump down to verse number 17. Right? Zechariah chapter 11 to 17. It reads, woe to the idle shepherd that leaveth the flock. I'm going to read that again. Woe to the idle shepherd that leaveth the flock. The sword shall be upon his arm and upon his right eye, and his right eye shall be utterly darkened. I haven't checked on brothers in a week, you're going off. And it's actually wicked, huh? And I'm talking to you brothers in leadership. If you haven't called a brother, texted a brother, it don't have to be, it could be it could be different brothers. You're going off. If you haven't even done a video, man, to teach and to edify or be at the camp, you know, then you're going off. You are going off. And you would be an idle shepherd. If you see the bear and the wolf and the lion coming and you pretend you don't see, or you're too preoccupied to see, you're going off, and your right eye, meaning your understanding, is going to be darkened. And your arm is going to be cut off. That's what the Most High is saying. His arm shall be clean, dried up. Your arm represents your strength. You know, you may be strong in prophecy. The Most High may take that away. You may be strong in other gifts and speaking in tongues or reading. The Most High may take that away. He's going to cut off your arm and put you back in the world if you are an idle shepherd. Right? Let's move on. Let's go to the book of, let's see where I want to go to. Let's go to John, the 13th chapter. Right? And actually, let me read one more concerning the sheep. Right? Let's see what we have here now. Okay. See that? It says sheep require clean access to clean. It's like they require access to clean water and a healthy diet tailored to their needs. So sheep ain't sitting there drinking a damn root beer or some douce, right? You have to give sheep clean water and a healthy diet tailored to their needs, right? And certain brothers have different needs, man, because certain brothers deal with different spirits. They have different obstacles they're trying to overcome. You don't feed the brother that's dealing with pride a bunch of precepts that pertain to slothfulness. You don't feed the brother that's dealing with slothfulness a bunch of precepts on how to be your brother's keeper. You feed them with clean water according to their needs. Now it reads, inadequate food or water can lead to weight loss, malnutrition, you see that, dehydration, and increased susceptibility to diseases. So if you're not taking care of the flock, they're going to lose weight, man. Now, when you're losing weight in this truth, that's spiritual. It means the spirit is leaving you. And your bones begin to stick out. Pursuant to the book of Job, the 33rd chapter. and you're dying of thirst, and you're going through a famine, a spiritual famine. If you're not feeding the sheep, they're going to go through dehydration, and when you're malnourished, you're more prone to being attacked by diseases, man, because your immune system gets weak. You know what they call your white. All right, see that Satan cometh immediately. But let me finish this. Right, Salaki. So Satan cometh immediately. Right now, I was saying, when you have these malnutrition and this inadequate diet, your body can't fight off these diseases. And if a brother don't take care of himself spiritually, he's not going to be able to fight off these demons. He's not going to be able to fight off these demons. Now, I'm not going to be able to read everything, obviously, for sake of time, right? I'm not going to be able to read everything regarding the sheep. Here's another one. It says, check this out. Reproductive problems. These are all causes of these are all effects of not taking care of sheep. It says malnutrition and poor body condition can negatively impact ewes' fertility and increase the risk of abortions or births. You see that, man? See that? So even it affects the woman, man, and their fertility. So we're all born again. By the word of the Most High, all taught we were all born again. So if you're not taking care of the sheep, you can't expect those sheep to bring in more sheep. That's plain. If your sheep out there in the field, they're not going to be able to reproduce. See, the Most told us in 2 Timothy, the 2nd chapter, teach the words of faithful men that they may be able to teach others also. So you're supposed to guide men and teach men, and they're supposed to bring men into the fold, right? That's making men be born again. But if you're not taking care of those men, that population is going to decrease. That's why camps fall apart. Entire congregation fall apart. They break off. They split. All hell breaks loose because of a lack of taking care and concern of the flock, right? So even reproductive problems are a reality when it comes to not dealing with the sheep, right? So I'm not going to read all of those, but these are just certain things I wanted to touch on for you brothers in leadership that pertain to the flock, right? Let's get one more, maybe two more, and we're going to wind down. Let's go to the book of 2 Corinthians, right? Let's go to 2 Corinthians, the 11th chapter, right? 2 Corinthians chapter 11. I may get one more, maybe two more. We're going to wind down. Salakia, right? 2 Corinthians chapter 11. You have notable examples. You have David. You have Nehemiah. You have Moses. You have all these men that the Most High set up to be able to be examples, man. 2 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse number 28. Beside those things that are without, that which cometh upon me daily, the care of all the churches. So you may have things that you deal with without. You may have external problems. You may have stress from your job. You may have health issues. You may have financial issues. You may be struggling to stay afloat with insurance and bills and rent and things of that nature. You may have marital problems. These are the things that you deal with that are without. Regardless of what you deal with without, you have to still deal with the church. The church is within. The brethren amongst you, That's why he said, but beside those things that are without, the care which cometh upon me daily, the care of all the churches, or that which cometh upon me daily, the care of all the churches. So it's a daily thing to care for the churches, to think about the churches, to think about brothers. Really, brothers have to learn how to compartmentalize, man, and learn how to manage your thoughts into different chambers. Most of your thoughts, you should be thinking about the church, man, the flock, the congregation, what's lacking, what can be done, what's needed, who's waxing strong, who's getting weak, what things need improvement. These are the things that leaders and shepherds should be thinking about concerning the flock, not looking to make a name for themselves or for vainglory, So with that, see that server 140, it's like you like Northern Nation 144K. Please pray for me. I can't seem to fight off this gambling spirit. It's ruining me. Yeah, most high willing, brother. Brother's going to pray for you. And everybody sincere on this live, they're going to hear that and they're going to pray for you too. But with that, we're going to close up, giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, by Shema Mashiach, Kwam Like Most High willing you are edified. Kwam Yashala.